first of all, thank you for your question from our fellow participant. So in terms of the process, so COVID kind of fell at a very interesting time. So students were on spring break when a lot of announcements were made. And so the university, specifically housing, financial aid, faculty and staff worked very quickly to kind of help students transition as best they could. I think the challenging part for us as an institution is that we have a very high percentage of students who are international students. And so whether you're living on campus or a lot of our students who live off campus in New York City, what does that mean for you? And so I think that was something that was very challenging. And I think our faculty and staff, that's usually who I work with on a more day-to-day basis besides students, is really meeting students where they are and putting their health and wellness first. So in terms of helping the students where they are, we did a lot of check-ins with students. So we have a platform that allows us to raise what we call flags and alert the campus community to what that student may be dealing with, of course, abiding by FERPA guidelines. So the student was able to get back home, but now, they don't have reliable network. How do we ensure that we're meeting those students where they are, whether that's a grant, whether that's having a specialist like myself, our office, work with the faculty to kind of find a solution, or it's, I've lost my job, my parents have lost their job, I'm not sure what to do. Having those open conversations with students and helping them connect them to resources as we can. In terms of the fall, I think that's still kind of, every day brings something new, especially being in New York City. One day it's, all right, we our numbers are down. The next day it's, focused on public transportation, which a lot of our students use, and how are we going to get students back to the city, or especially if our international students and that sort of thing. And so as of right now at 4:26 p.m. Eastern time, we're planning to be back on fall on the campus, and I know that our administration is having conversations around what that looks like in terms of, is that face-to-face? Is that a mix of different mediums? We're working at it day by day, and I think the biggest thing for NYU is the health and safety of our faculty, staff, and students, especially. We want you to get the education that you have signed up for, but we also want to make sure that you're safe. And so by doing that, we have our office, specifically the Office of Student Success, has been using a platform that we use to raise those flags for students who may need additional support. We also are doing text message campaigns, so reaching out to students saying, how are you doing? Give me a thumbs up if it's going great. Give me a thumbs down if it's not going so great. And then a specialist from our office will reach out to that student and work with them in the platform that they need, whether it's, I'm an international student and I don't want to pay for my American phone right now. Can we do email? Or I'd rather do Zoom or Jabber and that kind of thing. And so I think that's kind of where we have met students where they are. The getting off campus process, like you had asked to, was just really hard. It was really, really hard. I had to figure it out myself. My mom and dad are very protective, as I've only been there for about 7 months, and they were a little nervous with me being in the epicenter as well, but that was really hard. And I think housing, worked with students with grants and where they could to help get their items back to them if they needed to get back home, whatever that looked like. But I know that a lot of our housing right now has had to also be open to the frontline workers in the city. And so that's just been really challenging. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did.
But first and it's not easy. It's not easy anywhere, but I know at a large urban institution, I don't know if anybody else on the chat are the webinars from Jersey or Connecticut or Vermont or those hard-hit areas. So thank you for all that you do. Know that you matter, and make sure that you're checking in on yourself, because I know as we support students, sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves too, and validating those feelings, taking time for yourself, and knowing that whatever you're doing is important and valued.
She's so good.